I like to use a monopod for a couple of different reasons. The first is keeping a long lens steady. The monopod helps by supporting the foot of the long lens so that in conjunction with the vibration reduction that's built into the lens, I can capture sharper images. The second reason is to reduce fatigue. Holding a long lens out in front of me will put stress on my upper body, and when fatigue sets in, I will naturally lower the camera and the lens. And every photographer knows that when wildlife makes its extra effort to show themselves when your lens is pointed towards the ground. To avoid missing the shot, the monopod helps keep the lens pointed out towards the wildlife. I've been using a monopod for quite some time. I have a popular video with over 500,000 views on how to use a monopod that you can find by clicking up on the upper right-hand corner link. The monopod I use is a Gitzo G1588MK. When choosing a monopod, you need to make sure you get something sturdy. You don't want your expensive camera gear being supported by a flimsy monopod. One of the main questions I get asked about all the time is what head do I use on my monopod? For the longest time, I've used a ball head on my monopod work, but not anymore. Wimberley has come out with the mono gimbal head, and it has changed the way I use my monopod for wildlife photography. Let me show you how the Wimberley mono gimbal head works for me. The head's made specifically for use on the monopod, so you simply thread it on your head plate like you would install any type of head on your monopod. Once your mono gimbal head is on, you're ready to install your long lens and camera. The Wimberley mono gimbal works along with your lens rotation collar to give you active gimbal freedom. Since most long lenses have a collar installed when you buy them, I'll show you how to utilize that collar to work with your Wimberley mono gimbal head to get fantastic gimbal action on your monopod. You have your lens and your camera ready to go, but what you may not have is a foot that's Arca-swiss dovetail design. Arca-swiss is a very popular attachment designed for tripods and heads, built with the wedge cut out in the edges to help you quickly and accurately attach your cameras and lenses to any of your support systems that accept Arca-swiss. In my case, the Nikon long lenses come with a standard foot. To this you can add an Arca-swiss plate, but better still, do what I did. I bought a replacement foot that goes right onto the lens, and it has an Arca-swiss design built right in. I have several plates that I use for various setups, but I prefer to have less things that can move when I'm attaching my camera to the monopod. That's why I have L plates installed on all my cameras. They all have the Arca-swiss design built in, and on my long lenses, I like to have a dedicated foot that has an Arca-swiss built in. That way I can attach any piece of gear I want to any support system quickly and easily. The Wimberley mono gimbal only accepts the Arca-swiss design. So if you don't have an Arca-swiss foot, you'll have to go out and get at least a plate to attach your lenses so it can work with this gimbal head. Make sure whichever way you go, you have these little safety screws attached to your plate foot before you begin. I'll show you how those work in a minute. Just make sure that they're properly secured in place. Start by simply screwing the head to the top of the monopod plate. There are two ways you can position this head, left or right side. I've tried both ways, and I like the lens attachment to be on the right side of the monopod. It allows my left hand to snug up the tilt knob while my right hand works the camera dials. But this is just personal preference. You can do it any way that you prefer. It's best to attach your lens with the monopod completely collapsed. It's just as easier to maneuver the monopod to set up the lens with the lens foot. The other step I take when attaching my camera lenses to the monopod is I simply drape the strap over my neck that assures me that if something goes wrong and I drop something, my gear won't go crashing to the ground. On the mono gimbal head, there are two little grooves cut into the head. This is for safety to help keep your lens from falling off. Utilizing those safety screws that you installed, they will ride inside the slots of this groove that will help your lens from sliding off during the next step of balancing. Once all your knobs are tight, you're ready to balance your gimbal head. Holding the monopod as straight up as you can, loosen the tilt knob and see if you got lucky and the rig is in balance. If not, you'll be able to see how you need to move the lens on the lens foot. Tighten everything back up and ever so gently loosen the quick release knob. Now your lens can move forward or back. Do not let go of your lens during this step. What you're looking for is a balance point of your lens and camera. Move the lens and tighten the release knob. Then release the tilt knob and see if your camera lens combo stays steady. If not, do it again, back and forth until you get it to where you want it to be balanced. Now you are balanced. I don't mark a line on the lens foot since weight distribution may change each time. Using a lens hood or a different camera body, this will change the weight of the entire rig. So I just balance it every time. It only takes a couple of seconds to balance, and once you get used to it, it goes real fast. This is why we use a monopod in the first place: freedom of movement. The head makes things really easy to move around when you're shooting wildlife. I use it whenever I'm out photographing with the monopod. Just tighten the easy to grab knob, snug the lens collar, and off you go. You can even fold it over your shoulder for easy transport. Use the Wimberley mono gimbal head and the same techniques of monopod use. A slight angle to your leg in front of you so you can lean in and get rigid stability. Loosen the tilt knob and the knob on your lens collar so you can have complete freedom of where you point your lens. And then since it's balanced, it'll stay right where you left it. This will make shooting wildlife easier and improve your photography by keeping your rig stable. The Wimberley mono gimbal head is a great tool to add to your monopod to give you more freedom when you're shooting wildlife. Go check out their website at tripodhead.com, or you can pick one of these up at your favorite retail outlet. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified when we have more videos that will help you become a better photographer.